DATV, and the Greater Dayton Area League of Women Voters present Meet the Candidates, your chance to learn about the candidates running for office in the November election.
Hi, I'm Patty Skilkin. I'm president of the League of Women Voters of the Greater Dayton area. Today I'm talking to two candidates who want the same job. They were both interested in being the representative of the Huber Heights Council District 2. We're going to give each candidate a couple of minutes to introduce themselves to you. Then they'll get a series of questions. They'll have 2 minutes to answer those questions. Then they'll get 2 minutes to make a closing statement. Our candidates are Karen Kaleps and Janell Smith. Karen, I'm going to start with you for the opening statement. You have 2 minutes to tell the voters a little bit about yourself.
My pleasure. I am Karen Kaleps. I'm running for re-election to Huber Heights City Council representing Ward 2. That is the most northern portion of Huber Heights, if people are not familiar, part of which is in Montgomery County, part of which is in Miami County. So that ward is particularly unique and is also the fastest growing area, not just of Huber Heights, but of the whole Southwest Ohio. I have lived in Huber Heights for 50 years, a little over. Settled there in 1965 with my husband, and we have 5 daughters, all who were schooled in the public school system, Huber Heights, Wayne Township formerly. As soon as I arrived in Huber Heights, I immersed myself in whatever was available to get to know the community and be a part of it. And for all of these years that I have lived there, I have been an activist, a school volunteer, served the community in many organizations and nonprofits. In addition, I covered for a newspaper, that daily newspaper and a weekly newspaper, government at the grassroots level in then Wayne Township and the school system. And I went on then to eventually work for Wayne Township in the area of zoning and planning. So I'm somewhat grounded in the basics of government and zoning, if you will. Probably my biggest accomplishment, aside from family, is that I worked very hard and was instrumental in having Wayne Township be incorporated and become a city. That's my crowning achievement. We worked very hard on that, and we were incorporated January 23rd, 1981. And from there, I sought the first city council position, and from there it was pretty much government all the way. And
Thank you, Karen. Thank
very
you so
pleased to have
much.
been able to do that.
Thank you. Janell, your turn. You've got 2 minutes to speak to the voters.
Thank you. My name is Janell Smith, and I am running for City Council Ward 2. And I am a 48-year-old mother of 5. My husband and I, my husband is retired military, and that's what's brought us to Huber Heights 18 years ago. All 5 of my children. When we moved to Huber Heights, it was the first time that in our military career that we were able to purchase a home. We established roots in Huber Heights, and we wanted to live in an area where our children could go to good schools and grow up and just plant, good solid roots in Huber Heights. And all of my children are now graduates of the high school. And in the meantime, myself, I've been a lifelong volunteer starting at the age of 11. My mother is a retired nurse and my dad is a retired fireman. And before the HIPAA laws came out, when I was 11, my mother was a single mom, and so I would go to the Indiana Veterans Home and volunteer with the veterans. And that's really became my passion to be a volunteer. When I moved to Montgomery County in Huber Heights, I got involved in different organizations. When the YMCA came, we became chartered members. Currently, I am a volunteer at the Montgomery County Prosecutor's Office with the Victim Witness Division. I volunteer weekly at the Fish Food Pantry. I think that's very important that we serve our low-income families. I'm the captain of a Neighborhood Watch program, and I successfully held the National Night Out, and I mentored teen at-risk parents, and I'm here for the community, and I would like to get their feedback and involve them and empower the people.
Thank you, Janelle.
Thank you.
I'm going to stick with you for our first question.
Okay.
What do you think is the most significant issue going on in Ward 2 as we speak? What's the buzz on the street?
Well, I recently did a poll, and what I have found, and this is what I ask. I ask, do you know who your ward representative is? Yes or no, or what is a ward? And as people are answering this poll, it's completely even down. Today I checked it, and it was 33% said yes they did, 33% said no they did not, and 33% said they didn't know what a ward was. So I felt that it was my responsibility to educate them, and so I explained to them the process of our city, and to find out who your ward rep is.
Yeah, they need to know.
They do need to know, because your ward representative is supposed to be the voice of the people, and if they don't know who your ward representative is, then it's really hard to represent their voice at the table.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Karen, we're going to go to you with the same question. What do you think the big issue is?
For Ward 2, it is probably just continuing the progress. As I said earlier, the majority of the activity that is occurring in Huber Heights is occurring in Ward 2, more specifically north of I-70. And they are initiatives and activities and endeavors that represent both the residential community in Ward 2 as well as the business and commercial. To be able to continue what we are currently doing, which is building out a 600-acre carriage trails residential community that when we are done, and we're more than halfway done, will feature upscale homes and affordable homes, moderately priced, not a senior citizen facility that will be both care and residential, condos, apartments, many of which will be for empty nesters or young professionals. These are all categories of living accommodations that we do need, and I think will serve a large portion of our community, as well as bring in new people to our community that aren't just relocating from a different place in Huber Heights. I think growing and developing economically, commercially, in addition to residential is key for increasing and building the tax base that is needed to perform all of the other things that we would like to see occur in the rest of Huber Heights. I think we are offering a springboard right now with our Rose Music Center, with our Aquatic Center, with our YMCA, with a new fire station, and that is key to really just the comfort of being able to reside knowing that you're safe and you can live, work, play, raise a family.
Thank you, Karen. I'm going to stick with you for the next question. There's a lot of talk about merging cities and counties and townships. Do you think Huber Heights could benefit from any sort of a merger?
Presently, the way it has been explained, and that's as much as I've read because I haven't really seen the detailed documentation on what is exactly is being proposed. It's still in the formative stages, is my understanding, with neither a government or a government entity actually championing it. It's a group of folks that see this as a way to, a more efficient way for government in Ohio, which we do not have. I don't mean that we don't have efficient government. I mean we don't have that kind of government like Indianapolis and Louisville have, which is, I think, what they're trying to model it after. I think Huber Heights has been very fortunate since our incorporation to be able to cooperate and have mutual endeavors with a number of other communities, and particularly the services that we can share or actually do for other communities. And that is occurring right now with taxes, with water, and with certainly mutual aid in the fire, police department special teams that work with other police officers from around the county. So some of the things that exist right now and are working have made it efficient. I am not ready to say, nor do I think if you've worked as hard as we did to become a city and have that autonomy, you do not relinquish it easily. And I don't think that's what our citizens and our residents who pay the taxes and are familiar with the folks that run from their own community that serve on that government want in this case.
Thank you. Janell, you're going to get the same question. Do you see benefits to Huber Heights from any sort of a merger?
Well, currently what I will tell you is we do not have any current city council members that live north of I-70. And as I'm out speaking with my residents in my district, I've spoken about this. And I do not advocate for regionalism, mainly because it would disenfranchise our safety services. And I'm not willing to sacrifice the fire, the police, and EMS because they are really the best in the region. And I don't want to sacrifice their hard work, their jobs, and I don't want to sacrifice the well-being of the residents because they know our streets, they know our people, and it's important to keep them there. If we have to call, and I do understand there is a cooperation with Montgomery County, so if our officers, and with the other municipalities, so if there was a Code 99 dropped, we do get that assistance. However, it's beneficial to keep our safety services in place because they know our community and they know our streets and they know how to get there in a fast, efficient way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to stick with you for the next question.
Okay.
If elected, what would be your pet project? What's the number one priority, the one that keeps you awake at night thinking about it?
Oh my goodness, okay. Number one would be establishing a communication and open up a dialogue so that we can empower the residents to give us their feedback, give them a voice at the table before we cast our vote. I feel that it's very important that when we are developing our community that we look into the blighted areas and seek out the grants. And we need to work together with public and private spacing. People, you get a community and you establish what the community needs, and then you build around that. And I think if we had a really good economic director who knows people, and people create more people, which create a place, a sense of belonging, and then it also creates a destination, and you want to have a great destination. And Huber Heights has great potential to be a fabulous destination.
Thank you. Karen, same question. What's your number one hot ticket item?
My number one hot ticket item is what I had stated before, and that is to continue the progress, specifically in Ward 2. Growing, developing economically, commercially, residentially is key to that trickle down, if you believe in trickle down effects, of great things happening to the rest of the city. I believe we need to maintain the levels of service at a reasonable cost to both the business and the resident taxpayer. And that's an ongoing goal and challenge. And I think we need to be improving and revitalizing the commercial, residential, and recreational or amenities south of I-70. I think one of the ways is that we promote the areas along Executive Boulevard, which is called the Heights. We encourage development of that mixed-use district, and I think you're going to see quite a bit of that in the coming year that will provide for more retail shopping, office, quality eateries, overnight lodging, recreational opportunities that blend very well with what is already there, which is Myers, the Rose Center, Kroger Aquatic, and the recreation amenities that are north of Shull. I think we need to encourage the build out of Carriage Trails residential development. That's 600 acres of mixed residential district featuring the moderately priced all the way up to upscale single-family residential facilities, and as well as apartments, condos, senior, empty nester.
Thank you. I'm going to stick with you, Karen. How does one go about creating economic growth in Huber Heights? Is there something that should be being done that isn't?
I think you promote what you already have within your city. We are about as full-service municipality as you can find these days, considering our youth. I mean, we're a little over 30 years old, and we have our own water utility. We have franchise contracted trash haul that is probably the lowest in the area. Our water rates are the third lowest in a multiple county area. Ours are, for a year, water and sewer combined, a little over 100, 130, all the way to Miami County, which is technically Troy, Ohio, portion of Miami County, are well over $400 a year. So we have a lot of things and services, and even our tax rate is competitive enough to be able to say, come grow with us, because this is a good place to be, and we can offer you a lot of opportunity to grow your own business and enjoy your own life, whether it be residential or business. I do support financial and economic incentives and quality of life amenities that promote both business and residential growth. Some of them we already have, I've mentioned them. I think just the high service delivery levels at a reasonable rate is very enticing to whether you're a residential or commercial neighbor. I believe in using the tools that we have to create stimulate the economic growth, and that would be the TIF districts, the community reinvestment areas, the neighborhood revitalization programs, the zoning and property maintenance codes, and all of those together do a fantastic job of reinforcing our come grow with us. And that doesn't mean that you just leave them as they are. They're tools, and we constantly have to hone them to do an even better job.
Thank you, Karen. Janell, same issue. How would you spur economic growth for Huber Heights?
Well, I think the most important thing is to reach out to other agencies and organizations that have programs that will help communities do this. The Board of Realtors has a fantastic program that will help our community when it comes to zoning. Creating zoning and implementing zoning laws. We need to reach out to some of the professionals that sell community properties and residential properties so that they are on board and we can get their ideas as far as what they encounter in the community and in their business, because they are the experts. I also feel that we need to involve the Chamber of Commerce more. Anytime that a business wants to come to Huber Heights, not only is the city should be involved, but we should have a marriage, if you will, with the Chamber of Commerce, and they should be with the city each and every time so that we can promote our city and we can work together and find the grants we need to find the grants, and then we need to also empower the people and educate the people of what's out there and what they qualify for. I think a lot of people are not aware of what's out there, and I've learned quite a bit this week, and I'm really, really excited about bringing other areas, agencies on board to help us. You can't succeed without involving organizations, people, and being a team. And we need to collaborate with other areas and agencies. They have wonderful ideas that could bring to our area. But again, that's where I really feel that we need an economic director that knows people and knows our community.
Thank you, Janell.
Thank you.
We're now almost at the end of our program here, but Janell, you now have 2 minutes to talk to the voters and ask for their vote.
Well, I am asking for your vote because I want to empower the people to be able to voice their opinions and not feel like they're shut out or that their government is not listening. And I would do that in a way of holding quarterly board meetings and asking for feedback and asking for their opinion and not voting just on how I feel. I think that staying current with the technology is vital and community success. We need to establish, I would establish open lines of communication and an open door policy. If somebody emails me, I'm going to email them back. I'm going to get on the computer and make sure that I'm involved in every social media that I can that gives the residents the opportunity to tell me how they feel, because I think it's important to educate them on the issues before I would go and make the vote, because really my vote, my opinion doesn't matter. What matters is what the residents feel, and that's how I would be voting on.
Thank you. And now it's your turn, Karen, to talk to the voters.
I appreciate the opportunity that the League of Women Voters has given all the candidates to share a little bit about ourselves with you. Of course, I want you to re-elect me, and I have some reasons why I think that that would be a good idea yet again. While serving on City Council, for these many years, and it has been quite a few years, but that translates really into experience. I've gained that practical experience, and I have a thorough knowledge of government and the budgeting processes. I believe good government can be cost effective and still offer high levels of services. And that tax burdens can be kept down through careful budgeting and fiscal responsibility. Those have been philosophies that I came into this job wanting to uphold, and I feel that I have done that for the most part. Not saying that never have made a mistake, but I remember back in second grade there was that one. Aside from that, none of us are perfect, and there's always 20/20 hindsight, and you do have that with a lot of your government decisions and your council decisions that you make, but you go back and you correct them. And I do solicit and try to respond to people who have questions and concerns. Certainly I was not aware that we didn't have an open door policy. I think the city is very good about that. We have the open checkbook. We were the first to have that on ohio.gov, laying out all of our financials for everybody to see, and they're much more detailed than some of the ones that have been in the paper lately. So I would ask you that you consider me for what I bring, which is meaningful leadership, proven ability, a genuine desire to serve, and allow me to keep working for you and to continue the progress.
Thank you so much. We've been talking with two candidates who both would like the job representing the Huber Heights Council, Ward 2. I want to remind everybody to please vote November 3rd. It is not only a right and a privilege, in my opinion, it's your duty. Don't ignore your duty. Get out there and vote. If you need help, if you don't know where your polling place is, you've got questions about identification, the League will maintain a hotline beginning about 2 weeks before Election Day. You can call us. We will help you. We always have the answers. The number is 228-4041. Also, be looking for our World Famous Voters Guide, which will be published in English and in Spanish. It will be out the week of October 5th. It'll be in libraries and about a bazillion other places. If you can't find one, again, call us, 228-4041. It's an invaluable tool to help you with your voting. And if you want to check out our website, it is lwvdayton.org. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you to the candidates for giving us your time.
Thank you so much.